Hello guys, welcome to part 11 of Naruto, Rebirth of the Yellow Flash. First of all, I said that this story doesn't belong to me, so if you want to read the full story, you can go down in the description to find the original link to the full story and read it for yourself. I am just narrating it. That being said, let's get into the video. Naruto, Rebirth of the Yellow Flash, part 11, Wave, part 3. It had been 8 days since Naruto had met both Suigetsu and Haku. Right now, all of the Konoha ninjas except Kiba were at the bridge. Kiba had stayed behind to protect Tazuna's family in the case Gato men tried anything funny. The bridge was suddenly the bridge was suddenly enveloped by a thick mist. As soon as it appeared, Itachi looked at Naruto and said, Naruto, do it." Naruto, without any confirmation, waved through a set of hand seal at a quicker pace before shouting, "Wind style, ultimate gate breakthrough!" He fired a giant torrent of wind from his mouth. The gigantic torrent of wind immediately cleared the mist away. As soon as the mist cleared, Zabuza, Mongetsu, Haku, Sogetsu, and another shinobi who was wielding twin blades. "So, you guys finally showed," Kakashi said as he brought out his Sharingan. Itachi activated his eyes while Kushina released her chains and unleashed her Kodachi. It is a rematch for the last time with the same matchup. Itachi Uchiha to even things out. I called an old acquaintance for help. Here is Raiki Koshichimaru. Also, this time our apprentices will be fighting. Zabuza sneered and said as he and his team got in stance. Before anyone could answer or move, Naruto clapped his hand and said, "Kai." He was then covered by seals that all broke. Naruto then channeled his neck and channeled his neck and looked at Haku and Suigetsu and said, "So, which one of you will be my opponent first?" Haku stepped forward, pointing at a clearing at the right side of where they were standing, nodding but not removing his eyes from Haku. Both of them moved and began a stare off. Suigetsu was then confronted by Sarui and Hinata with the twins and Sakura guarding Tazuna. All the ninjas were standing at each other. The air was so tense that it could be cut by a knife. In a blink of an eye, all six Jonin disappeared in a burst of speed, and the only thing that could be seen was six blurs flying around, accompanied by sounds of metal clashing with steel. Kakashi versus Zabuza. Kakashi was holding two kunais in his reverse grab and was charging against Zabuza. Korochiba. Zabuza was using his normal style of pure power, whereas Kakashi was countering him with his reflexes and the Sharingan. Kakashi, having the advantage in pace and prediction, had managed to get in a few cuts. It was then that both of them simultaneously managed to knock their weapons out of their hands. They then jumped back and created a little distance between them, between each other. "Damn it, ninjutsu is out," The only option I have is taijutsu, thought Zabuza as he charged forward on the offense, not surprising him to change, not suspecting him to charge. Kakashi was hit by several of Zabuza's punches before he went on the defensive. This went on until Kakashi poofed off in smoke, surprising Zabuza, who didn't turn around in time and was hit by a mighty haymaker, which caused him to fly into a tree and then landed with a thump. Kakashi quickly went through several handsills and summoned and shouted, summoning jutsu. As soon as he said, several dogs appeared in poof of smoke. Kakashi then said, hold him down while I finish him off. The Niken nodded, and all of them beat Zabuza, holding him in place, while Kakashi was charging a Chidori. He was about to thrust it into Zabuza when Itachi versus Raiga. Itachi and Raiga were clashing with swords. Raiga was using his twin Kiva blades, with Itachi countering the moves with his Tanto. Itachi then replaced himself with a clone and then went through several handsills at a lightning quick pace before shouting fire style, great fireball jutsu. The giant fireball from his mouth, which Raiga saw prominently dodge. He, however, failed to notice two clones snake up on him. Both of the clones, in one swift motion, launched themselves on Raiga. As Raiga struggled to get free, Itachi made a ram sign and said, exploding clone jutsu. Both of the clones exploded, leaving him immediate victim smoking. Itachi, however, was forced to dodge a couple of lightning stare that came towards him. Turning his attention around, he saw Raiga still standing. His clothes were in tears. He had several burns and bleeding cuts. He was also breathing heavily, but he was still in fighting condition. I would advise you to stop and give up. No matter how strong of an A rank you are, you can defeat an S rank on your own, Itachi said in a monotone voice. Heh, I don't really get into fight like this anymore. It is way too interesting to give up now. Way too interesting to give up now, Raiga said as he crossed his blade at Itachi. I see, then you leave me with no choice, Itachi said as his eyes merged from the normal Sharingan into the Mangekyo Sharingan. Looking dead into Raiga's eyes, Itachi mumbled Tsukuyomi. After a few seconds, Raiga dropped down on the floor exhausted. Itachi sighed and turned his Sharingan off before he rubbed them to reduce the irritation in them. He was then about to kill Raiga when... Wow, what a jump cut. Kushina versus Mongetsu. Kushina and Mongetsu were both firing a wild variety of jutsus at each other, and while waiting for an opening to land a finishing, unannounced to Mongetsu, he was playing directly into Kushina's traps. Before they had started clashing, Kushina had created several sealless clones and had hinged them into different materials so that they could fit in with the surrounding. The clones were busy getting a seal area ready. As soon as it was ready, Kushina released her chains and deflected Mongetsu's incoming water dragon before immediately firing a water vortex jutsu water vortex jutsu at him. Being an S-rank ninja, Mongetsu easily dodged Kushina's attack but failed to see that the place he had landed was a ceiling area. Kushina smirked at that and brought up a one hand ram and said, Uzumaki style 7-point seal. Fuin. As soon as she said that Mongetsu was trapped, he wasn't able to move even an inch of his body. Sighing, Mongetsu looked at her and said, It's same you win, Beneheme. Beneheme, it was a good fight. Damn right it was, Datebayo. Kushina said with a wink, which caused Mongetsu to blush a little. Something Kushina was oblivious to notice. With Sugetsu Sarui, with Shigetsu Sarui and Hinata. Suigetsu charged forward and attacked both the girls at once. He made a downward swing with his sword, which was intercepted by two kunais countlessly from Sarui. She managed to keep Suigetsu locked in a place while Hinata got behind him and shouted, 8 tetragram, 32 palms. Hinata, in one quick motion, hit 32 of Suigetsu's chakra points, shutting them down and temporarily blocked them. He became paralyzed for a moment which Sarui fully utilized and immediately tied Suigetsu with a ninja wire. He sighed a little bit and said, "What a bummer." Sarui looked a little shocked and said, "Is killing a game for you?" No, our senses may kill, but me and Haku avoid it if we can. I was just going to knock you both out before helping Haku with Naruto. Suigetsu said, cuttingly replying. He then looked at Hinata and said, "You are really good. Good. What's your name?" I am Hinata Hyuga of the great Hyuga clan. She put up her act of arrogance. Hinata. That's a cute name. My name is Suigetsu, but you can call me Suikun. Suikun, he said with a wink. Hinata blushed slightly before looking away while suggesting smirk violently. Sarui just looked on a little confused. What was happening? What was happening here? She instantly thought. However, she thought were interrupted when Naruto versus Haku. What the hell is gonna happen? Every time when? What's gonna happen? Who knows? Let's see. Naruto versus Haku. When we should fight. We shouldn't fight. I know for a fact that Gato and his thugs will try to overwhelm us when all of us are weakened. Naruto said, "How do you know that Gato is coming? How do you know that Gato is coming?" Haku asked as she narrowed her eyes suspiciously. "I'm a sensor ninja. I sensed a large number of signatures coming from the direction you guys came from. That's how." Naruto cautiously replied, "How long until they get here?" Haku asked, "They should be here in 10 minutes. While we wait, tell me about yourself. While we wait, why don't you tell me about yourself?" Naruto asked. "Very well. I was originally from Kiri. Suddenly they started something called a bloodline purge. Suddenly they started something called a bloodline purge. The fourth Mizukage thought and the Yandame Mizukage thought and convinced most of the population that people with bloodlines were actually demons themselves, hence beginning the purge. When I was 5, I activated my Hayatoto bloodline. I was executed and exceeded and quickly showed it to my ex. I was excited and quickly showed it to my mother. She quickly told me to turn it off and never to tell anyone about it. However, my father saw it and killed my mother. He almost killed me, but I escaped. I stayed on the street for a year, after which Zabuza founded me and took me in. That's my life story. Would you like to share yours? Haku said. I guess I will. I am the Jinchuriki of the QV soul. Due to the lack of knowledge on seals, everyone thought that due to the knowledge on lack. Due to lack of knowledge on seals, everyone thought that I was a demon's reincarnation. Because of this, I became the village's paradise. These shopkeepers would overcharge me and sell me expired products. No one would even talk to me, and most of all, I was beaten to near death. Stared nearly every year on my birthday. That was until Gigi found me and placed me in the academy and got me my own place. He also introduced me to several shopkeepers who didn't have a bias against me. I was happy. Then, when I graduated, I learned that I had a family, two sisters. They are those two adorable redheads guarding Tazuna. I grew even happier. Now I will say I am satisfied with my life. Naruto replied. Haku was about to reply when the sound of mercenaries was heard. All of the shinobis turned to look at the source, which was a small army of bandits, nearly 200, being led by Gato. So you failed, huh? That good for nothing. I can kill all of you. Good for nothing. I can kill all of you at once. Men, kill them all except the girls. They would be worth good money. They would be worth good money, especially the red-haired ones. They look delicious, Gato said with a perverted leer. All of the ninjas were now standing together to fight the bandits. Given the level they were on, five jonins could easily take they Given the level they were on, 5 jonins could easily take on and kill the mere bandits, no matter what number. However, before either side could move, the whole area was engulfed in a very potent killer instinct. It froze all the bandits in place, caused all the Genins to collapse on their knees, while the Jonins remained unaffected. Turning around, they saw that Naruto was the one emanating the killing intent. Naruto removed the seal on his eyes and activated his Sharingan chakra chains and unsheathed his sword. His overall appearance could now be described as intimidating. Turning to the Jonins, he said, I will take care of all this. Don't interfere. I will take care of this. Don't interfere. All of them nodded and stepped back. Gato laughed and said, Kid, you must be a fool to think you can take on 200 alone. Naruto didn't answer. He had up his left headband. He held his left hand and did some hand seals, causing the area around the bandage to be covered with mist. This surprised the genin and the rogue mist ninjas, but no one spoke at that moment. Oh, Naruto learned the hidden mist jutsu. Naruto then disappeared in a burst of speed, and as soon as area was filled with cries of pain, that was filled with cries of pain, shout of mercies, and sound of blood splashing on the ground. Everyone waited with bated breath to see what was happening. Kakashi, Itachi, and Kushina were hoping that Naruto didn't kill anyone. Hoping that Naruto didn't kill anyone, as the number of kills would be too high the kills would be too high to handle for a 12-year-old. Obviously, 200 kills, that is too much for anyone. Soon the mist cleared away, and everyone saw all the bandits on the ground, dead, bleeding, with some missing a limb or two. Naruto, on the other hand, was covered with blood and was standing in front of Gato with a look of pure hatred on his face. Before he could kill him, shout of footsteps could be heard. Turning around, everyone saw Kiva leading the villagers. All of them had a weapon in their hands. It was then that Inari shouted, "Naruto Nisan, we are here. I took your advice and finally did something about it." Naruto chuckled and whispered. He wrapped his chains around Gato, lifting him up in the air, and then tossing him right in front of the villagers and saying, "Do what you want with him." The villagers roared in apprehension before dragging Gato away. He was going to pay for all of his crimes today. When everyone left, Naruto looked around and pleaded. He was surrounded by dead bodies of people he killed. He ran to a bush and parked before he started hyperventilating. Seeing this, Kushina and the twins ran toward him. Kushina immediately wrapped him in a hug and was rocking him smoothly, with the girls looking on with a look of worry on their face. "That must have been rough on you, kid. Normally there is one kill at your first time, not 20. That must have been rough on you, kid. Normally there is one kill at your first time, not 200, Mongetsu said. I agree, it looks like the kid is having a panic attack, but you cannot deny he has skills. Zabuza said. Itachi and Kakashi didn't say anything. They merely looked on in worry. The rest of the Genin all were having different thoughts. I should ask him how he became this strong. It will help me beat Itachi. Sarui thought, damn, no doubt now. He is the alpha. He killed everyone who dare threaten his pack. Kiva thought. Naruto, you really are a hero. I am sorry that I treated you badly without knowing the real you. Looking at you, this must have been very hard on you, thought Sakura. Naruto, Hinata sadly thought. He is truly strong if he is able to go through those lengths to protect his precious ones. Haku thought when as Sugetsu kept on impassive look on his face. Turning to Mongetsu, Itachi asked, "What will you guys do now?" "Me, Zabuza, and Raiga will be joining the rebel in the Kiri Civil War. Me, Zabuza, and Raiga will be joining the rebels in the Kiri Civil War. We haven't decided on where to drop off the kids. We don't want them to see war so soon." Mongetsu replied, "However, you send them with us to Konoha. they can become Naruto's Genin team. They can become Naruto's Genin team. Since they aren't listed as shinobis, they can be classified as missing ninja, Kakashi said. No, that's not gonna happen. I decided against leaving the kids behind. Even if it's a civil war, the only way I can fight is if Haku is protected. So I will take her with me. Haku is protected, so I will take her with me, Zabuza said. In that case, it seems that Sugetsu will be living with me as well, said Mongetsu as he and Zabuza motioned their apprentice to follow them, and then they left. Back with Naruto, he had finally calmed down in his mother's embrace. He looked at her and quietly said, "I'm a monster. I killed them." Kushina looked at him and firmly said, "Listen to me, listen to me, boy. Listen to me, boy. You aren't a monster. Those people should have harmed. Those men could have hurt your sister if they got their hands on them. Not that they could have achieved that since I trained them so well." Not that they could have achieved that since I trained them so well, but you need to know that you did the right thing, protecting your family. Naruto looked at her with a grateful smile in his grateful look in his eyes before he asked, "Does it get any easier? Does it get any easier?" It does over time, but no one must never enjoy killing. As soon as you try and avoid it, and don't enjoy killing, try and avoid it and don't enjoy killing, you are fine and human, not a monster, Kushina said. Naruto gave a thankful nod before he fell asleep in Kushina's motherly embrace. She picked him up, and the family of four started returning home. Kachan, is Nissan gonna be okay? Mito asked worriedly. Yes, he will be fine. He is just tired and needs a little sleep. Kushina replied. Mito, remember when you asked you will protect Nichan? I thought about it and decided that we will protect Nichan in change. Datebayo, Narumi said, to which Mito nodded before both of them exclaimed their verbal tish loudly as they punched the air. Kakushina and the others chuckled at them before they all returned to Tazuna's home. Time skipped 1 week later. After a week, the bridge had been complete. Naruto was being hailed as the hero of the wave as he single-handedly beat Gato and his bandits. The pure look of joy and gratitude in the eyes of the people convinced Naruto that he didn't what he did was right. He then made a vow to never make an unnecessary kill, but that he didn't mean he wouldn't if there was no other choice. Naruto was found that he now had a fan club in the web. Naruto also found that he now had a fan club in the web. It was because of this that he mostly hid in Tazuna's house for the remaining of his stay at the wave. Currently, Konoichi ninjas were at the gate bending. Currently, the Konoha ninja were at the gates, bidding the villagers goodbye. Konoha ninjas were at the gate bidding the villagers goodbye. Promise you will come visit again, Nisan. Inari said to Naruto. The young boy was trying his hardest to hold back his tears. Naruto smiled at the boy and bent down and hugged the boy. He then said, "Yeah, no, it is, yeah, no, it's okay to cry tears of joy, and don't worry, I will definitely visit you." The boy then broke into tears and hugged Naruto tightly. Naruto then rubbed his back slowly, smoothing the boy before he stood up. he, along with the group, returned to leave. As they were leaving, Naruto fangirls appeared and they shouted, "Naruto-sama, don't leave! Give us your babies!" Wow. Needless to say that Kushina and the twins had to held back the ensuing the ensure that they didn't rip those girls to pieces. Needless to say that Kushina and the twins had to be held back to ensure that they didn't rip those girls to pieces. Naruto-sama, don't leave. Give us your baby. Wow, what a fan club. As they walked into the distance, Tazuna turned to the villagers and said, "What should we name the bridge? I think the Great Tazuna Bridge sounds good. Don't you think so?" "No." Came the collective response from all the villagers. "Then what?" Tazuna asked with a sigh. Inari thought of for a while before saying the Great Naruto Bridge. Everyone agreed to this, and as soon the bridge was named as the Great Naruto Bridge, with a plan to set up a statue to commemorate their heroes. That's all for part 11, maybe. I hope to see you in the next video. By subscribing is the best way to be notified for new parts. That being said, bye bye.